Well, welcome to another morning, another Saturday. It's a good day. Sun's shining, and we're still alive. Well, if you've ever wondered why your child should do mathematics, and you want to know why you as well should consider doing mathematics, you need reasons why mathematics is so essential. Then we're gonna have that discussion today. You've come to the right place to listen to this. Okay, so from this today, you will gain a deeper knowledge into why really mathematics is so important to this world. Why mathematics? What's the big deal about mathematics? What makes it so important? Well, excuse me, we are having a little bit of distractions from the animals out here. We're still out in the wild in Limpopo. As I'm seated right here, surrounded by all sorts of animals. I have an ostrich right here, a buffalo, a zebra. I see, what's that? Kudu, impala. That's what you call it, impala. And also, there's just a lake here, steps away from where I am. No boundaries, I kid you not, but I can actually see the hippos. So there's lots of hippos in here, hippopotamus, and there are crocodiles in there, but I can't see them now. I can't see them. I can't see the crocodiles. But there's a lot of fish in there too, so a lot of fishing is done there. But we're gonna do this recording this time. Last time I was facing that way, so you could actually see the nature. Last week Saturday. But this week, I decided to turn the camera around and face it this way. I was burning, I was out in the sun last week, so well, today I'm in the shade and I'm feeling much better. But unfortunately for you, only I can see the view, only I can see these animals out here in the wild. But there's all sorts of flying animals as well, these big wasps has just been flying around me. There's flies, there's mosquitoes, there's all kind of lake kind of animals flying around, and all kinds of birds as well. Very tall birds that can actually fly. I was watching these birds fly the other day, and you know how birds normally fly and then they stop flying in the air and then they just soar. They don't flip around. Normally when they soar, you stay in the same level or you go down, but not these birds. They were actually soaring up, and I was like, what? How is this even possible? I don't even know if soar is the right word that I should use, or glide. Glide, I feel like glide is a better one. Normally when you're gliding, you glide down or stay in the same level, just like that. But these ones, they flew, flapping their wings, and then they stopped flying. They started gliding. But instead of going down or staying in the same level, they're gliding up. It's the weirdest thing. It just didn't make sense to me. It defied the laws of physics. It defied gravity. How can you glide up? But anyway, it is what it is. That's what birds here in Limpopo do. I guess it's the Limpopo effect. Yeah. Shout out to my Limpopo people. I have a lot of people, a lot of friends from this province. So yeah, welcome to you guys. Anyway, let's get back to topic. We're discussing why your child should learn maths and the reasons why maths is so essential. Let's just go to the first slide. Now, very often people ask these questions, um, why they should do maths. Very often your child might ask you why they're doing maths, but I just wanted to explore the two motives that could be going on there, why they could be asking this question. The first and most common reason why your kids or why you would ask this question is because students may ask the question as a way of complaining, like maths is really hard, it's difficult for you, and you are really struggling, and so you just see no value in it. You just don't know. You might say things like, or your child might say things like, I don't see how this will ever be useful to me, so I don't think I should have to learn it. Like, but that is coming from a place of failure, a place of lack of understanding, a place of frustration. Child is really frustrated because he's just not getting this mathematics thing. This mathematics thing is just over her, you know. So yeah, the first motive is because if you ask this question as a means of complaining, or they ask this question as a means of complaining. Secondly, they genuinely curious about why the course content is what it is and why the course is required for their degree or their education. So why those particular subjects in mathematics, those particular topics in mathematics? Like, why do you need algebra? Why do you need geometry? Like, I'm really interested in where can I apply this? Is this even applicable in real life scenarios? So those are the two motives that you could be asking the question and why you should do maths. And our answers today, we're gonna answer these questions, and or rather this question, and both motives. It doesn't matter what your motive is as you are listening, but there's an answer for you. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. The first reason: mathematics plays an important role in brain development and analytical skills. So maths is so important just for the brain. You know, if for anything else, do maths for your brain development. And that is why maths is a prerequisite from early stages of the schooling up until grade 9, I think. Then you can choose whether you want to do it or not, because it is so critical in shaping or developing your brain, and not just any position of your brain or any type of brain or brain. Okay, so the second point says there that research shows that maths is good for all your brain, not just the parts that offer activities that other activities cannot reach. Okay, so it's not just for some parts of your brain, it's for all your brain. Okay, maths is good to develop your brain and analytical skills, analytical thinking logically. Okay, so maths helps you to develop those kinds of things. So here's an interesting fact. The human mind is not built to understand the way the world works. Okay, rather it's built to stay alive. So as you are born, you're not born knowing that 2 plus 2 is 4. You're not born with knowledge. You're not born with knowing that there's gravity. You're not born knowing that, force is mass times gravity. You're not born knowing all of these things. And that's what I mean about this point, because all of this has to be taught. You literally have to be taught how to count. You literally have to be taught the letters, how to speak English, how to speak the language that you speak. You had to be taught. You literally have to be taught analytical thinking. It doesn't come natural. Okay, you need to study. So if people are not educated in mathematics, especially, they are prone to all sorts of faulty thinking. Okay, so faulty thinking could be wishful thinking, just hoping that things, you know, wishful thinking, like I said, and all sorts of faulty thinking. I can't think of much right now, but faulty thinking is what comes natural. Okay, incorrect reasoning is what comes natural to human beings. Without being taught a thing, you might not reason with it well. So, for example, if someone gives you two things and then you need to add another two, it's incorrect reasoning that 2 plus 2 will equal 5 or 6. But for you to have correct reasoning, as in 2 plus 2 is 4, you need to be taught. It doesn't come natural. I think what I'm trying to say here is that we're not wired as human beings to be educated or have good knowledge or have reasoning capacities and all of these things. These things have to be taught to us. Okay, so that's it. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, no. You know what? Actually, I think let's take a little break before we go to the next slide, because I also want to put my camera that side or my video that side for the next slide. So let's check the next. Let's check an advert. Alright, we're back now. So here I have a slide that talks about non-technical reasons why you should study maths or why your child should study maths. So the first point, just to go back, was it's excellent for your brain development. Now it's good for decision making. It helps in making good decisions. So from avoiding being taken in by scam artists to making successful decisions. Just to talk about scam artists, there's lots of scam artists out there that will promise you heaven and earth. Lots of forex dudes, forex scammers, so I should call, or pyramid scheme artists as well. There's a lot of scamming that happens, business scamming out there. There's a lot of scamming out there that's happening, and one of your defenses or one of your reasoning or how to spot a scam is just seeing, how it can be too good to be true. Because sometimes they say if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Okay, it's probably a scam if it sounds too good to be true. So one of the things that help you to identify something that's too good to be true is mathematics. Like if you just apply simple maths, you can really find out that no, this person is lying to me. This can't be, these numbers, they just don't add up. How can you say I put 2 and you put 1 and together we'll have 4? That just doesn't make sense. So unless you know the maths behind the scam, you probably won't be able to recognize it, because remember, we're not wired to naturally recognize scams or naturally have knowledge. We need to be taught these things. So maths will help you, will go a long way to help you identify a scam, and also to make a successful decision. Like you will literally know if you are going to save money and they tell you that you're going to make I don't know, 5% per annum, and versus another bank that says you're gonna make 7% per annum. That's it. It takes mathematical um, knowledge for you to know that the successful decision is to go with the 7% one, but unless you know what these things mean, you probably make a bad decision. So for you to make a good decision, you need to know the mathematics, and maths is everywhere really. We're going to get to a slide where I give examples where maths is literally applicable. Okay, but very much so in finances, your finances. Okay, so for you to run your finances successfully, one of the keys is to have knowledge of the maths behind it. Okay, so here it says only if you know the difference between a valid and invalid reasoning can you spot the errors. Sometimes these aren't just errors in scams, but errors just around. Errors in physics, errors in just knowing stuff, that for you to reason to recognize those errors, you literally have to know the maths. Like, I can't stress this enough. Right? Reasoning goes hand in hand with mathematics, or rather mathematics goes hand in hand with reasoning. Okay, careful thinking is necessary to distinguish between fact and fiction. Okay, so things that don't make sense are just fictional. It's fictional to think that 2 plus 1 is 4. That's fictional. Okay, but it's a fact that 2 plus 2 is 4. And I'll keep making this example. I know it's simplified, but I think it helps you to understand how critical maths is. You as an adult, you've gone through the primary school mathematics. You know basic mathematics. So it sounds obvious that 2 plus 2 is 4, but to the person who's not educated with mathematics, they don't know this. So it's easy to scam them. It's easy to fool them with fiction. They can accept fiction very quickly and very easily because they don't have knowledge of mathematics. So studying maths helps sharpen the mind and develops deductive reasoning skills. Like I said, all educations, they require maths because it helps in deductive reasoning skills from an early age. Okay, from an early age, grade 1 up until 9, it's compulsory. You just have to do maths because it's that critical, it's that important. And the one reason, it's because it helps you to reason. It helps the child to reason. Okay, so the child then has a reason to be able to count the number of sweets that you are giving them. So they can say, hey, mommy, 4 sweets is more than 2 sweets, kind of a thing, because they already know numbers. That's basic math. So it's very important for reasoning. Okay, now we can get into the technical reasons why you need mathematics. You need mathematics, your child needs mathematics because there are some real world applications where mathematics applies, and it also helps in problem solving. So it's not just for critical thinking, it's not just for making good, successful decision, but also solving problems. Math helps to solve problems. Like, for example, you've got 10 people, or you've got 10 sweets, and you need to divide them amongst 5 people. So you need maths to be able to say, okay, what's 10 divided by 5? That means each person is getting 2 sweets. You just solve the problem there. everything is fair, everyone is equal, getting an equal amount of sweets. If you didn't know mathematics, you probably wouldn't be able to solve that problem. But let's just get into this one. Understanding patterns to quantify relationships and to predict the future. You need mathematics to do all of those things. Understanding patterns, like for example, okay, it says here algebra can explain how quickly water becomes contaminated. So say there's an oil spill in the water. Okay, so you gotta solve, you got variables there. You've got y, which is the water, you got x, you gotta solve how fast is this water going to be contaminated if the oil is spilling at a particular rate. So you need to understand uh, that pattern, as in how fast uh, is the oil spilling. And if I'm looking at a lake right now and it's defined, it starts over there and it ends over that side. So if I spill oil there and I can see it moving, I can also predict the future to say how many hours will that oil get to that far end, just by doing simple maths. So and then I've just predicted the future. I've just calculated that actually for this oil to get to the other end based on these variables and this calculation, it'll take 2 days. I just predicted the future. So that's what we mean about predicting the future. So geometry as well, I can explain the science behind architecture. Architects can design weird shaped buildings, and then as an engineer as well, you must make sure you design the reinforcing to make sure that that building actually stands. So the way the buildings, the structures are made, you use mathematics there. You can't just build a high rise or build a tower or build any building with an upside down triangle, for an example, where the vertex is the point of the triangle is like that. You don't build like that. Rather, you build triangular, like pyramids. So that requires a knowledge of mathematics. That's You've got geometry there. You've got a geometry and the geometry of circles as well. Geometry helps with sports, like at what angle you should kick the ball in order for the ball to go its maximum distance it can reach. You need an angle of 45 degrees. If you kick it at 45 degrees, that's the furthest the ball can go. Any other thing that's lower or higher, it's not gonna go that further. But so that's all mathematics. You need mathematics even in sport, in architecture. You need it in engineering. But we'll talk about that as well. Stats and probabilities can predict profits, how ideas spread, and how previously endangered animals might repopulate. The reason I'm giving all of these types of examples is just to show you that mathematics is everywhere, really. There's no industry that doesn't require at least the basic mathematics knowledge. So it's very much, even if you're a businessman and you're like, hey, I just want to do business, nothing to do with education. Well, as a business person, you still need a little bit of math to be able to count the money, to predict your profits, to be able to predict the future as well, to calculate, to reason why your business will work, to crunch those numbers. You need a bit of knowledge, otherwise you'll be scammed easily along the way. So all these things, navigating percentages and mortgage rates, like if you're buying a house, You need to compare the banks, and you use percentages to see which one has a better rate than the other, which one would be the best deal. You need mathematics for all of. So really, in the financial world, mathematics is there. And finances, well, we are all involved with finances, every single one of us. Okay, so I think I'm gonna stop there for now, and then let's go to another ad break, and then we'll come back and do the last session. Okay, and we're back. We're doing the last session now. Why am I on conclusion? Well, at least you saw there that we are actually one slide away. Now, on this slide, I just wanted to talk about the technical other places where mathematics is very, very, very critical. So that's in engineering. These are your typical careers where maths is really important. So if your child wants to go into engineering, things like being doctors, computer programming, because computers are very critical these days. It's the one programming is the one career that you'll never go wrong these days. In fact, people are losing jobs who don't have programming for programmers because things are going digital. Statisticians, obviously, they need mathematics, actuaries, teachers as well, especially if they're going to teach maths and science, they need mathematics. Business managers, well, very critical for business people to have maths knowledge. And PhD students, I put PhD students there because, very often many are students who run away from mathematics. Then it doesn't matter what they're studying, whether it's psychology or whatever. Once they want to go a level up, like do a PhD or a master's, they then have the math starts catching up with them because now they have to do a course in mathematics. Because when you're doing PhD and masters and all those things, very often you need to quantify things. You need to be able to do a critical thinking that requires the knowledge of certain maths concepts. So all of them, all PhD students, they need mathematics and masters to a certain level. Okay, so where the laws of mathematics are applicable, they're applicable in computers. As I am recording right now, all of these devices that I'm using, they use maths concepts for the computer to be able to do what it's doing right now. And all these other gadgets, your phone, all of these things, that's maths concepts in developing these things. Cars, aeroplanes, the cars that you drive, that you see driving around, they use high maths concepts in there. So the knowledge of mathematics is very critical in these things. Body scammers, software, that's where the programming is. So highly mathematical, coding, and much more. Like maths is everywhere. Everywhere you look, where you are looking right now as you're watching me, you're watching me from a device that has maths concepts in it. So you really can't get away from the mathematics, no matter how you look at it. And then optimizing costs. As a business person, you need to know how can you lower your cost in order to make a higher profit. So optimizing the numbers like that require mathematics, calculating trajectories of a spacecraft, for example. But like I said, trajectory in sports as well. Sports science, mathematics is needed in each and every sport. Doesn't matter what sport it is, but maths is needed for it to be to calculate certain things and be successful in certain things in sports. Okay. And or most importantly, the reason you would need maths is just to finish your studies and get a job. 80% of the studies in a university require maths, and maths uh, that you would have matriculated with mathematics. 80% of careers require mathematics in a university. So if anything else, do encourage your child to do mathematics just so that they could get a job, if that's your philosophy, or encourage them to do mathematics just so that they can become successful business people, if that's what you want for them, or that's what they want. Or encourage them to do mathematics so that they can think critically, they can think logically, they can reason with their mind, they can reason within themselves. So encourage them to do mathematics. Let's get to the conclusion now. Conclusion is that math skills are a kind of intellectual technology which our ancestors have fought hard to create and to pass on us. Remember, math doesn't come natural to us. Reasoning logically doesn't come naturally to us. So our ancestors, doesn't matter whether you're related to them or not, but they gathered this information so that we could know it and apply it and know how the world works, know how to reason and all these things. Also, skills which are not part of our natural environment and which come to us only after hard work and study. Like I said, even our ancestors, they had to work hard to discover something, study further to discover a certain formula, to discover how something works, to discover why something works the way it does, and how we can manipulate it to our advantage. All the discoveries that they were made through hard work and studying. They did not come naturally. So we need mathematics to further that knowledge on. We need mathematics to discover new things, okay, and pass it on to our children and our children's children and and everyone else. So maths is definitely a must have. That is why it's compulsory here in South Africa to do it from grade 1 up until grade 9. My kid is in crèche. He hasn't even started grade 1, but he's still 2 years old, but already at school he knows how to count up to 20. Like, maths is just instilled from a very young age because he's gonna need it in the future. In the future, we're going to will require a whole lot of mathematical knowledge than even we need it. So maths is definitely a must-have. Well, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you have any further questions, please visit our website www mvtutors.co.za, or you can WhatsApp me on 076-312-1107. Okay, thank you so much for listening. This is your tutor for the day, and signing out. Enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, and I will see you next week.
You might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me.